awareness. I'll do the crew calls at 10, 5, 2, and 1, and we'll be hands off at 2 meters.
Good copy, Dragon.
All right, so Dragon is now accelerating in for docking. So again, we were able to get that ground pass video. Teams here in Houston, visiting vehicle officer, other support personnel confirmed Dragon was in good alignment. And that video from the ground site, that's the one you were just seeing on the left. So Dragon's now continuing in towards docking. We've departed waypoint 2. We're only 17.5 meters away. We confirmed good alignment. And we've got additional views now trained on Dragon, giving additional situational awareness. And we're continuing to get those updates from the navigational equipment on board Dragon. The LiDAR's giving real-time range rate. We're getting real-time degrees, and that's also being fed to the crew in real time. They don't have that video, but they do have all that additional data that's able to give them enough data to make decisions for a board if they need to. So we have proceeded. We are go for docking. Dragon's flying in. It's moving at less than 1/10 of a meter per second. We're just about 15 meters away now from the docking port on the space-facing side of Node 2. Should be just under 3 minutes away from docking. Crew call out chop. That's the crew hands-off point. That's just giving direction to the crew on board Dragon not to make any manual control decisions or movements, as everything gets handled by the flight computer from that point in. 8 meters away. Continuing to get confirmation that Dragon is in the correct attitude, in the approach corridor, not tracking any issues, just past 7 meters from the docking port. Six meters in closing. The International Docking Adapter number 3 in view on the lower right there.
5 meters.
Under 5 meters to go. Still seeing good alignment. Under 3 meters. Soft docking ring on Dragon on top there. International docking adapter on the right.
SpaceX copies 2 meters.
2 meters. We heard chop call, the crew hands off point.
1 meter.
One meter to go.
Dragon, SpaceX on the big loop, contact and soft capture complete, attenuation in progress.
SpaceX Endeavor, copy all, good.
All right, so with that contact and capture coming at 7:29 a.m. Central Time, 5:29 a.m. Eastern, that's 12:29 UTC, while the station and Dragon flew 258 statute miles over the central Atlantic Ocean. So with that initial contact made, the soft capture ring is now going to begin to retract. After
Dragon,
that is
SpaceX
completed,
on the big
we'll
loop,
be able to
soft
start
capture
engaging
ring
hooks.
retraction in progress.
So with that initial contact made, the soft capture ring is now going to begin to retract. After
Dragon,
that is
SpaceX
completed,
on the big
we'll be able
loop,
to
soft
start
capture
engaging
ring
hooks.
retraction in progress.
Soft capture ring in progress.
So we're now going to see Dragon inch a little bit closer to that docking adapter until it essentially performs a sealed connection. And then we'll be able to engage 12 hooks that form the hard capture function on board Dragon. 6 of those are actually engaged during the launch and on the way into orbit. And they hold the nose cone, which you can see opened off to the right there. They hold that in place, and then they're opened up once we're on orbit to deploy the nose cone. But 12 of those are now going to engage after the soft capture ring has retracted. Once those 12 are engaged, we'll have a hard mate. Then we can start to connect 2 umbilicals that are going to provide hardline data and power to Dragon through station systems. And then we'll be able to get the docking complete call. And then it's on to some of the post-docking operations. So for the crew inside Dragon, they'll be getting out of their suits, doing some basic cabin configuration as they get ready to open the hatch on their side. That'll be the last hatch to open. Meanwhile, on the station side, Tom Marshburn and the Expedition 67 crew will start outfitting what's called the A-Pass hatch. That's the hatch on the station side. So a small valve that Marshburn's going to open up to begin to flow atmosphere to the space between the Dragon and the station hatches. Right now, it's still exposed to vacuum, but as soon as we're able to pull Dragon in and engage those hooks, that will become a sealed space. And so we'll be able to pressurize it, essentially just flowing atmosphere from the station into that previously vacuum space between the 2 hatches. We'll stop a couple of times on the way up in the pressure just to do leak checks and let thermals equalize to make sure that we're actually measuring pressure and how much atmosphere is in there, not just thermal fluctuations. And so once we get that up to pretty much the same ambient pressure as the space station, we'll open the A-Pass hatch first, and then it'll be over to the Dragon crew to open a hatch into Crew Dragon Endeavor. So still waiting for that soft capture ring to retract. This might be a bit of deja vu for Dragon Commander Mike L.A., as this is actually the 2nd time in his spaceflight career that he's docked to the space station on a spacecraft named Endeavor. He flew on Shuttle Endeavor back on STS-113, flying to the station in November of 2002 to deliver the Expedition 6 crew. So thank you to our resident spaceflight encyclopedia for that tidbit. So for now, the soft capture ring's still retracting, and once that's completed, we'll be able to begin connecting those hooks. Those are going to hold it in place. We'll get those umbilicals, and then we'll be able to start stepping into hatch operations.
Dragon, SpaceX on the big loop, ring retraction complete. Docking sequence is holding for MCS reconfiguration.
SpaceX Endeavor, copy all.
And that soft capture ring has retracted. As you heard, we're going to now stand by for a moment for MCS reconfigure. That's the motion control system on board station. For the docking ops, we had handed over to the thrusters on the Russian segment for propulsive attitude control. Now that the soft capture is completed, we're going to hand back over to the gyroscopes, the large gyroscopes on the US segment that are just run electronically to provide non-propulsive attitude control to the station. And then once that handover is complete, we'll start engaging those 12 hooks, holding Dragon in place, and then getting closer to that docking complete call. But if you're just joining the docking, that initial contact and capture did take place just about 5 minutes ago at 7:29 a.m. Central, 5:29 a.m. Pacific, 12:29 GMT, as both the station and Dragon were flying.
SpaceX Endeavor on the big loop, cabin mic check.
Endeavor, SpaceX on the big loop, cabin mic check, 5 by 5.
Copy all, thanks, Jake.
So we are going through some checks. This is a view of Dragon docked at the zenith or space-facing port. So the hatch is actually pointing down towards Earth, and the crew's inside, again, doffing their spacesuits or taking off their spacesuits, getting ready to enter the International Space Station here shortly. For now, we're going to send it back over to Dan at Johnson Space Center in Houston.
All right, we've got confirmation that the hooks have started to drive, and so there's 12 total. We're going to do them in 2 groups of 6. So the first set of 6 driving now. In this split screen view, you've got the newly arrived Dragon Endeavor on the left. On the right there is NASA astronaut and current Expedition 67 Commander Tom Marshburn. He's on the timeline to take the lead in the vestibule pressurization operation, so he's going to be moving into the pressurized mating adapter in the space-facing side of Node 2 and working on the station side hatch, opening up a valve to start to flow atmosphere from station into that soon-to-be sealed pressurized area between the 2 hatches. And again, we expect hatch opening to take place roughly 2 hours. Should be a little bit less than 2 hours following the docking. So with that docking happening right around 7:30 Central, it'll probably be sometime in the 9 o'clock hour before we get the hatches open. For the crew on board, they're going to remain in their seats throughout this as we continue to drive the hooks. Commander Tom Marshburn is going to be primed for this. And first thing is he's right now in Node 2 in the Harmony module, and here's a live view. First, he's working to open up what's known as the PMA hatch, so the hatch into the pressurized mating adapter. This is closed during the docking operations. And with that, Tom Marshburn has that PMA hatch open. So you can see now inside the pressurized mating adapter, we do use it for storage as space is limited on board the station, so number of items stored, but you can see the cover to the A-Pass hatch now in view. So Marshburn is going to go there. He's going to open a small valve. It's going to start flowing atmosphere from the station into the vestibule, and we're going to slowly pressurize that. We're going to use sensors on the Dragon hatch to measure temperature and pressure inside of the vestibule as that happens.
Station on the big loop, no two overhead hatches.
And so right now he's gonna.
Copy. Hatch open. Thanks, Tom.
And so Marshburn just radioing down the overhead hatch, so the hatch into the pressurized mating adapter is open. He's grabbed a tablet with his procedures on, and he's going to now start stepping through the vestibule pressurization. So he's going to open a small equalization valve, and that's going to start flowing air from station into that vestibule. We're going to give it some time for those hatch seals inside to relax, as we're going to be introducing a pretty substantial thermal change for them. So again, as we're measuring pressure inside, we want to ensure that that's not just the air heating up, but we're getting an accurate reading of how much atmosphere is now in that vestibule. And we're going to continue this pressurization until you essentially equalize the pressure between the vestibule and the station and Dragon. They're all going to be at a very similar pressure. We can wait for pressures to equalize, so we can just kind of pause and wait. But at this point, the vestibule pressurization has started. It sounds like we're getting that valve open, and so we're going to start stepping through. So this all told will take about 10 minutes to start the pressurization, and then after that we're going to do a leak check. That can go anywhere from 15 minutes. Quick view of Raja Chari, who's doing our primary Dragon monitoring there. But after we get the vestibule pressurized, we'll go into a leak check, where they wait for thermal conditions to stabilize. They're able to do a leak check and then ensure.
Kayla and I believe that's Thomas Marshburn working towards opening the APAS hatch, but you can see behind them in that corridor, there's tons of storage there. So really...
Station Endeavour, Houston, on the big loop. We have configured for hardline comm. When you have a moment, we'd appreciate comm checks on the big loop.
Station has you loud and clear on the big loop.
Okay. Well, one of you guys tells us to do it, we'll do it.
Dragon, station, SpaceX on the big loop, go for hatch opening per decal, followed by the remaining actions in 4.400, section 6.
Endeavour copies in work.
All right, good news there. We're through hatch equalization. The crew's been given the go to open it up. And so there is a decal on the hatch itself. It shows them how to work the hatch mechanism. They're going to open it up, and it swings inside of the Dragon spacecraft to get stowed. After they get it open, they'll have a couple of steps just to configure Dragon and start making their way out momentarily. So Expedition 67 Commander Tom Marshburn making his way down, and there we are. So Eytan Stibbe, first one through, followed shortly after by Mark Pathy, making his way onto the space station. Looks like just behind him is going to be Larry Connor, the pilot for the AX-1 mission. Now through the hatchway into Node 2. Mark adjusting our camera angle for us. And then making his way out of a spacecraft named Endeavour onto the space station for the second time. No stranger to the orbiting lab, Michael López-Alegría. So with the entire AX-1 crew now on board, we're going to spend a couple minutes just getting everybody set up, and then we'll be able to kick off our welcome ceremony.
And station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Everybody loud and clear.
Station is ready for the event.
Kathy Leaders, this is Mission Control, Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Hey, I think we already did that. I think we already did that. Tom. I apologize. We can hear you loud and clear. Thank you. Tom, I don't know if you muted again.
The microphone is on, and we read you loud and clear, and we're ready to speak with you.
Okay, well, I had an old boss who's his to do over this next week, and this is going to be important for us to be able to work as a team.
Are you ready for the event?